Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you.
When the Silent Hill Remake trailer revealed the updated look for Angela Orozco, some fans were concerned that by depicting her as the 19-year-old girl that she is, it took away from the game's disturbing, mature themes of her story. However, this new age-appropriate Angela, to me, actually reinforces and amplifies the psychological horror core of the Silent Hill series. I'm Nimis, and welcome to my channel. I do art stuff, and if you're new here, like and subscribe. And I'm going to be doing some art of Angela in the backdrop while we talk about this. At its core, Silent Hill has been known to always have stories about relatable human characters and putting them through nightmarish physical and mental scenarios that reflect their personal trauma and loss of innocence. Angela's new youthful appearance and vulnerable portrayal encapsulates those themes of a shattered innocence and deeply rooted psychological anguish. Now, as for the art direction, this is what I'm going to be going over. The muted color palette, prevalent of decay and rust imagery, and the symbolic religious visuals were all crucial to establishing Silent Hill's bleak, oppressive atmosphere. Angela's redesign is basically the same. The only thing that is different is her face. And the part of her face that I think people they have a problem with is that she doesn't have the sunken eyes and that her face is not very thin. But the thing is I'm going to be honest with you, not a single person, unless they are rail bone thin, ever looks good in a turtleneck, ever. That's just my take on it. So I think if she was wearing something else, it wouldn't look so bad. But in the original, she had more clothes. She had like a jacket too on top of it. So she was really covered up. So if you're here complaining that Angela is completely different, you're just a Gooner. And I feel like you don't know enough about who modeled for those characters. Because if you look up the behind the scenes stuff, you can see that Donna Burke was in her 30s. And she was the body for Donna. She was the body for Angela. And you can see here by this little clip here. And the people who they got to be the actors turned into the faces to some extent. Even though they changed the likeness so they don't really look like the characters, they do look a little bit like the characters. And even if they adjusted it, I mean, you can just look at them and I can believe that the person who was playing Angela was 30 years old or around something, in her 30s. Now, moreover, the original game's disturbing monster designs, drawing from body horror, created a sense of like defiled humanity, I guess. And having Angela appear to be emotionally raw and fragile and young-faced kind of gives her the feel of a more susceptible to being corrupted by these nightmarish visions. And some people are just really upset about it because they really miss the old face and they thought her young face was cuter. And I do agree that the other face was cuter. But at the same point, I could not believe her to be 19. When I found out she was 19, I was like, what? I thought she was older than James. And a lot of people are pointing out that this redesign of her face should be prevalent of the hellish lifestyle that she lived. And I understand that. I know that trauma can do stuff to a person. But using logic here, we know that the reason why she probably looks old is because her model was in her 30s at the time. Angela isn't a drinker, nor was she a drug addict, but, you still can't make me believe that a 19-year-old girl is going to look like she's in her mid-30s. You're just not going to make me believe that. And I think by leaning into this new design, having her be age-appropriate, like with an age-appropriate face, the remake's portrayal represents her, lack of a life experienced by being preyed upon by unimaginable terrors. It's like a perfect visual manifestation of Silent Hill's core premise of innocence destroyed. A startling merge of the youth of her character, because now that we know when we are going to approach her in the game, we know that she's just a teenager, and then when you come across her in the original, it seems a little bit odd that she, I assumed her to be 35, when I played the original. So it seemed kind of odd that it seemed so fresh to her, that something was wrong with her, but it seemed too fresh, you know? When you find out that she just came to the town and that she killed her dad, you find out like, wait a second, she's 19? Okay, that makes sense, but why she look so old though? For like a 19-year-old, that's just, like, even back then, I was like, what? I don't believe that. I don't believe this. I just feel that it's a better fit because the softer face shows how young she is to have gone through all of that trauma. I think people will just warm up to it. I know it's unpopular right now, especially because it's such a drastic change to what, the old fans are used to. And I'm an old fan, so I saw her face and I was like, oh man, she looks really different. But you know what I mean? I was like, you know what? She's age appropriate. Good. I think it fuses her vulnerable youth with Silent Hill's bleak psychological undertones in a way that just really enhances her disturbing, story. Overall, I think all the characters are an improvement from the original. As for my own personal preference, I still prefer James's OG face and, Guy Chi, because he is James. He's James. You can't replace James. But I'm open to changing James. I'm open to it, but that doesn't mean it's my favorite. I like the new voice for Sephiroth, but he's not George Newbern. And I know that people are like, oh, she's ugly, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. You're Gooner if you're complaining about what her face looks like. Silent Hill is way deeper than, people's attractiveness. The only person that needed to be attractive was Maria. Now, the thing is that she's not actually ugly. I don't think she's ugly. I think she's common. And that is exactly what we should have wanted in a character that is so psychologically disturbed and as dangerous as Angela. And let me just put this out here real quick. I just saw the Shadiversity video right after I finished exporting, and his crappy take and complaining that Angela isn't hot and Maria isn't hot. Can I just say that this take is from the two greasiest looking guys. One claimed to not even have showered in 3 days, is on point for this nonsense. I've seen 2 videos now talking about wokeism in this video game because these characters aren't sexy. My guy, please, Shad, there is a reason why. Your channel is dying. And it isn't because of clicks and views. Your takes are trash, and it's affecting your main channel. That whole Angela looks trans because of her eyebrows, I knew that greasy guy was gonna bring that up. What? Just end me. 19-year-old have eyebrows, dude. Hers are thick, and it doesn't mean that she's masculine. When Shad says that he hasn't even played it, but he's raging over it, I just can't. Ew. Don't watch the video. I just told you everything that goes on in the 16 minutes of whining about wokeness. The issue isn't even that Gianna, who plays Angela, isn't pretty. For some reason, when the devs capture model faces for games, they just tend to leave them there rather than tweak them to make the model look more like the model/actor, like in the original. There is some facial warping from the cameras that require adjustment to get the face more accurate. But modern game devs don't understand that at all, and I don't have a problem with Angela's face in the other scenes. But in the fog, it doesn't do her justice. Another good example of this is Emily from Until Dawn Remake. People need to start tweaking the scanned faces. It's not just good enough to scan it and call it a day. Modern audiences mean that Maria isn't wearing a leopard print skirt from 2002. Okay? Ugh. Okay. I'm done. I know this is different from my other videos, but I just really love Silent Hill, and people using the art direction and the themes and all that to try to get around that the person that they casted for the face is somehow inappropriate for Angela's character, per her story and per the narrative and the designs of Silent Hill. I just want to smack them, because if you look at Sato's original pictures, she looks like that person. I might do more art direction videos. If you guys like this stuff, I know I don't normally do videos like this, but what do you guys think? Is this something you guys are interested in? Are there any people who actually game that watch this channel? But if you like my art, I do a little bit of poetry with it sometimes, so feel free to check out the Netrunner and the Cyber Psycho if you like speed paints and Cyberpunk 2077. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you next time.